Hi, this is Tutor Nick P, and this lesson is New Vocabulary 2. What kind of person is a snowflake? All right, now, we all know the original meaning of snowflake, of course. Snowflake is a piece of snow. And if you ever lived in an area where it does snow and you ever tried to catch a snowflake in your hand, you'll know that a snowflake is very fragile. It melts immediately in your hand. It's very sensitive. So this is where the second meaning comes about, that we start to use it with people, if we refer to a person as a snowflake. So that's the new meaning here. So let's take a look at the definition. A snowflake, a person who is considered to be way too sensitive, far more sensitive than the average person, and tends to be offended at the drop of a hat. Very quickly, somebody just said, and they start crying and something like that. They seem to act like they should have special treatment because they are too emotionally vulnerable. All right, at this point, it tends to be used a little bit more with the younger generation. That's why sometimes we're hearing the term Generation Snowflake. I don't know if it will stick. I don't know if it will stay. If, in maybe so many years from now, they'll be referring to this new generation as Generation Snowflake. But so far, it's been used more with youth. But the meaning is starting to spread, and they are starting to use it with anybody who acts like this. Anybody who seems to be way too sensitive and thinking that they should have special treatment because, oh, I'm so hurt. Sort of like that way. So let's take a look at the first example. Many snowflakes made YouTube videos crying after the loss of the Brexit vote in the UK. Remember the vote whether the UK should stay in the EU. And a lot of youth, maybe not all of them, but a lot of the youth tended to favor staying in the EU. And of course, that when they lost, a lot of them like, oh. And then even to a worse extent, or stronger extent, after Hillary lost in the U.S. elections, a lot of ones who are, oh God, this is unfair, my world is ending, oh, it's so terrible, oh God, what's gonna happen? A lot of them made videos acting like that. So this term of snowflake started to become more and more common, and started to be associated more with them. But again, it may not be limited to them. It may not be limited to one particular party or another. But this is the way it's been so far. Let's look at the second example, because this has been building for a few years. Many university students who need safe spaces on campus. All right, what is a safe space? Safe space is where some universities are creating an area where they're overly protecting their students who are worried about somebody might say something, or somebody might say some ideas that oppose their ideas. And actually, to be honest with you, they're creating an area where you don't have free speech. But anyway, that's the idea. So I've heard some people actually comment that perhaps universities are actually promoting the younger generation to be a little bit like this by protecting them too much. You can't live your life in a bubble. When you go through life, this is normal. You're going to have to face people that don't agree with you, that have different ideas, and you can't always like, oh my God, they said that, I can't handle it. No. You can't act like that. So this is why some people who are acting this way are actually starting to be referred to as snowflakes. All right, so let's review the second example again. Many university students who need safe spaces on campus are real snowflakes. They cannot handle any criticism or listening to anyone who may have ideas that oppose theirs, that go against theirs. So that's why they were starting to be called snowflakes. But again, it may not be limited to them. It's spreading a little bit, just like maybe recently. Some media commentators have said that many of the recent protesting football players are acting like snowflakes. Again, too overly sensitive, demanding that people pay attention to them in this sort of way. In this sense, we say that somebody is acting like a snowflake. So again, just quickly to review. Again, somebody who is way too sensitive, offended at the drop of a hat. Remember, drop of the hat means like immediately, right away. Hardly anything serious. They seem to act like they should have special treatment. All right, so basically this is what it means. This is the new meaning of snowflake. Will it stick? Maybe. Maybe the snowflake one will stick. But I don't know if Generation Snowflake will stick. Anyway, thank you for your time.